Nutnfancy here with my good sidekick, Allie the mountain dog. She's chilling out today instead of hiking. And if I talk to her, she's going to cock her ears back and forth as Allie, as I talk to you. Do I mention words that you like to hear? Like like backpack or bike ride? She loves those words. Sorry for the distraction. You get over here and sit. Go on. Get over there. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Yes, I know. We'll go in a little while. Anywho, back to the topic at hand. I've spent a lot of time thinking about reviewing backpacks, how to best do it. It is a very difficult issue to attack and to do competently. And the reason is there's so many varieties of backpacks. There's tons of manufacturers. There's a lot of opinions on what's good and what's bad. And more importantly, the reason it's difficult is because the manufacturers change their backpacks almost year to year. There are a few exceptions, and I'll mention those as I go through the series of videos I have planned. However, they want to keep their product lines fresh, interesting to the buying public, and sadly this results in some really good varieties of backpacks and models being discontinued altogether or changed, sometimes for the worse. Another thing that complicates reviewing backpacks are the variety of sizes. Isn't that right, Allie? There's lots of different sizes and models and types of backpacks. But after thinking long and hard about it, and this will be the first of my backpack reviews, I won't do a ton of individual backpacks, but I'm going to do it according to size. And these are the size breakdowns that I've come up with. Small will be 1,000 to 2,000 cubic inches, medium 2 to 3,500, large 35 to 5,000, extra large 5,000 plus. Now, don't expect me to do individual backpack reviews. In other words, a model comes out, I do a review on that. It's not practical because that model will only last a year or two, maybe a couple years, and then it's gone. And as people see that review, then they'll be all bummed out that they cannot get that backpack. Instead, and again, this is a first of my backpack reviews, therefore it contains my reviewing philosophy on it. Instead, what I'm going to do is pick a representative model, in this case, a Kelty Super Tioga, nearly 5,000 cubic inch frame pack, and I will talk to its features. And instead, you'll go out in the world loaded with information on which features might be helpful to your system requirements in backpacking. And also, I believe the concept, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And that's what we're going to go with on this series of videos. A lot of my videos will have that. I'm going to teach you the information to evaluate a backpack by yourself. Now, this is according to Nutnfancys experience and use. You viewers might have different experiences and different opinions. They might differ from my own. However, that's a Nutnfancy data point. I think you'll find they're very well reasoned. Reference my... Dude, that light is totally smoking. Check that out, man. I think I'm going to have to turn that light off. Anyways, I ain't stopping. Let's keep going. I'll turn on my backup light. Anyways, reference my extended stay backpacking gear review, and you can find a lot of philosophy and a lot of proof pictures of the stuff I've done. No joke, for decades. So enough said on that. Let's get going. I got talking points on the backpacks. I'm going to try to keep organized, go down, hit all the information. I find that's useful. I will still forget to say things. If it's really important, I'll try to put an annotation on the video if I get time. Let's get going. First, size and type. This is a 4,750 cubic inch Super Tioga by Kelty backpack frame variety. What do I mean by a frame pack? A lot of noobs watching this may not know exactly what I'm talking about. You have internal frame and external frame backpacks, and generally those external frames are just called frame packs. What that means is the frame is contained on the outside of the pack bag. Kind of like so. See that metal portion right here running down? The pack bag is attached to it, and you have an external, generally metal frame, sometimes generally aluminum, but also sometimes polymer. What do I think about frame packs? Well, I think they're preferred. I think most users would be much better served by a large frame pack than an internal frame pack. And despite Allie's excitement there. She agrees too. There's a lot of hype and has been for many years over internal frame packs, and in my opinion they've been pretty much pushed onto the public. If you go to a store like REI, maybe EMS, and any other well-stocked backpacking style outdoor store, you'll see a lot more internal frame packs, at least as of 2008, than you will external frame packs. And that's sad, because most users, backpackers, are much better served by an external frame pack. And it is my preference, generally speaking, over a given trip. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'll get to those as I go down my talking points. So this is an external frame, large size pack, Super Tioga by Kelty. Awesome pack. Look at that color too. I love that color. That olive drab color. It's low key in the wilderness. You can stash your pack for a day hike and it won't be super visible. I think all backpacks should have that low key and low visibility color. That's just me though. That's what I like. I know a lot of people like the bright colors. Actually, bright colors when you go winter camping or you do summit attempts, they're actually pretty helpful, especially if you're camped in blizzard conditions to help find your camp. Now, next one is weight on the talking points. I'll get to all the gear you're seeing. There's a reason why it's laid out. Weight. This is not a lightweight pack. In fact, it's a heavy duty pack. 6.5 pounds with this specific variety of Super Tioga. Now, Kelty, as of this year, is still making the Tioga backpack, external frame. They call it just the Tioga 5000, and it's actually even bigger, 5,000 cubic inch, as opposed to this 4750 cubic inch pack. And I think that's even better. The bigger the better, generally speaking, for my trips. I'll show you a picture of those maybe in a separate video. Let me go ahead and turn this around. Excuse me, dog. That way you have something different to look at in the frame. So the weight is substantial, but it's a heavy-duty pack. And don't kid yourself, you need a heavy-duty pack that can take an 80, 90 pound load up into the wilderness. You don't want it failing on you. And it takes a metal frame generally to do that. I've talked to a few of my associates who've had those polymer frame ones, and they say they're great for light loads. But if you get much more than, he said about 50 pounds, one of my buddies, he says it flexes just way too much. So this is not a super light pack, 6.5 pounds. The new Kelty Tioga, I think they've shaved off like a pound. It's 5.5 pounds because they have a lighter weight frame system, supposedly with the same amount of strength. That's cool. I mean, I'm all for saving weight, but don't get rid of strength. And this will take us right into the versatility and features aspect of the backpack. One reason I prefer a frame backpack is it is extremely versatile. First off, looking at that suspension system, it's cooler to backpack with. I'll use my hiking pole as a pointer. You see this mesh suspension band here? What that does is it pushes the pack bag away from your sweaty back, and it creates airflow behind your back so you don't sweat as much. Generally, frame packs, if you get them sized and fitted correctly, are very comfortable, and you're going to breathe behind your back a lot better. Now, yes, I know there's some hybrids coming out where they're kind of a cross between an internal and external frame, and they do have airflow capabilities behind the back. But when you look for a pack, look for that. You want airflow behind your back. Some of the hardest workouts you're going to do is when you're backpacking. Ain't that right, Allie? She's nodding her head. It's a workout, and you're sweating. So I love that about frame packs. Another cool thing about frame packs is the frame. I can lash things to this frame, and I'll show you when I flip the pack around. If I have something that I need to lash to the back of my backpack, I can take 550 cord, wrap it around my frame, lash it to the back, and the possibilities with that option are pretty much limitless. Now with the Super Tioga, it has this attachment system where it's a bar that runs down longitudinally down here to attach the pack back to the frame using cross pins. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That adds a little bit of weight, but it's a strong and reliable system. I like it, and it's served me well. But you will have to thread your 550 cord under that little bar. But it works, and I've done it a lot of times with this pack. You can't do that with an internal frame pack because it has no frame, generally speaking, exposed. you got to jam everything inside the pack bag. Then when you want something, you got to pull everything out to find that item. Which gets to my next same talking point, but next feature of an external frame pack. By the way, this is not loaded up with a bunch of heavy gear. What I did is just stuffed it with stuff to give you a representation of what it looks like when I go tripping. It looks pretty much like it does now. But an external frame pack has these nice pockets. It pays to be organized when you go into the out of doors. And I'm going to detach here and walk around and show you the pockets on this outstanding Super Tioga backpack. First off, on the side, you have a very long, what I call a tool pocket. And why do I call it a tool pocket? Because it's long and slender. I won't zip it open, but by the way, it has a divider here. So you can actually divide that pocket. So it's actually two short pockets. What a great feature that is. If you're shopping for packs, look for versatility like that. Generally, I leave it unzipped, and generally I use it to carry my tools, kind of like the RTAC 2, if indeed that's the kind of knife that would fit my system and trip. Kind of big for backpacking. But a Trailmaster would fit in there nicely, and I've fitted in there nicely several times. I just reviewed this knife, Cold Steel Laredo Bowie knife. How you doing? It'd fit right there. An internal frame pack, it's very rare to find a pocket externally that can do what we're talking about. Generally, you're going to have to jam it inside the main pack bag, which sucks because it's hard to access. How do you access your knife quickly when it's buried along with your sleeping gear, your clothes, your food, your cookware, whatever else you're bringing? There's a Rat 7. That would fit in there. Sawviver, fit in there. WD-40, all the tools that I need. My chopping or my work gloves for wilderness woodworking would go in my tool pocket. If we go to the other side, the Super Tioga has two small pockets. Extremely versatile, extremely useful. I recommend having a system for your pockets. Maybe this one would be your first aid and snack pocket, where I'd have my first aid gear always in an external pocket ready to be accessed in case of an emergency. Allie's getting bored. And then the lower pocket, heck, I don't know, more tools. You know, your Swiss Army knife. How about fire making supplies, which is in that red zip pouch right there. You can put that in your lower pouch. Moreover, this model of Super Tioga had vent or mesh pockets on the interior. You can see that there's my potty bag, and that's accessed and slid down into the back of the pocket. Then I have a compression strap on the exterior, which is an outstanding feature because then I can cinch that pocket down along with the contents so it's not rattling and banging around. And it secures whatever's in that mesh pocket so it does not fall out. Now, a lot of guys will use this lower one for their water bottle. You can do that, but it is not easily accessed. When you're hiking along, to reach back here, extract that water bottle, and then put it back in, it's hard. If you have a hiking buddy, much easier. Just say, hey, dude, can you get my water bottle? Yeah, no problem. And then, you know, you do your favorite for him or her. Cinch strap as well. For water requirements, all kinds of packs, not just frame. I'm always running a camelback type bladder, and there's a representation of it. And it slid into the compartment of the Kelty Super Tioga or like style pack. I don't have it outfitted in this configuration right now, but it'd be routed right out through here. It does not. This particular model was old enough where it did not have a dedicated routing port. Almost all backpacks now do, where you can bring your port from your camelback or your hydration bladder out, run it on your shoulder strap. And then you see these are like little tiny Velcro fastener attachments that I put on. They're not Kelty factory, and that's what I use to route my hydration tube with. And it comes down underneath my camera pouch. There's that Timbuktu camera pouch that I told you about, attached to the shoulder strap, like indicated in my backpacking gear review. And then my hydration tube sits right here. The only thing I would say, and this is a criticism on the Kelty Super Tioga, is it does not have a hook on the interior of the pack bag to attach that bladder. Because that bladder, when it's full of water, it's heavy. And as you see, most of them have a hook device just like this that you need to hook onto. And if you have that, it just makes your life so much easier. Okay, so that's why I like pockets. And that's a major reason why I like external frame. Not that it just breathes better, and it does, but it's a lot more capable when it comes to carrying gear and organizing that gear. A lot of times when you get to your place of your destination, when you're packing to, man, it's nice just to have an external frame pack to lean against a tree, because it's such a great organizational system. Once I get where I'm going, all the sleeping pads come off it, sleeping bags off, tent's set up, and I'm left with my pack bag, and it functions kind of like a chest of drawers. You can still use your pockets and main pockets. Most of your stuff is still waterproof when it's zipped closed, storm-proof. Hard to do with an internal frame pack. Also, internal frame packs often don't stand up rigidly like a frame pack does. Notice that when I stand this pack up, it can balance on its own, on its metal frame. Another advantage of a frame pack. Finally, heck, not even finally, it just keeps going on and on. The advantages is, see how I strap those sleeping rolls to the external, or the outside of that external frame pack? That's hard to do with an internal frame pack. Now, I have a large internal frame pack, and yeah, I'll do a video on it. I love it. It's a Mountain Smith. However, it has the limitations inherent to the design. It's very tough for me to lash onto that pack like I can here. And I'm not even showing you the different lashing options. I'm just showing you a couple. And if you have any questions about the gear, again, reference my backpacking gear review extended stay. It's an 8-part series. But I talked about these sleeping rolls there. Yeah, I take 2 of them. I like being comfortable, and they're fairly light. Notice, by the way, when I put those on, that they're angled down for rain. So you don't want to have that facing up to catch rain. Angled that way. Hey, that's into part 1. Here comes part 2. And talking about large frame backpacks. Kelty Super Tioga is my reference pack for that. Nutnfancy.